This is BHAMBRA here for PSB Sports.
Where's your sidekick, your cameraman?
He's
normally
he's not here today.
you know, he's sitting next to me.
Yeah, I know. I'm not gonna lie, it actually feels odd not sitting next to him in this interview. Don't, next time.
They'd probably rather see me than you anyway.
Probably.
That was a joke. Don't take it the wrong way.
No, that's
good. Good.
That's alright. I think I've been mocked by the hair and stuff like that enough times.
It's still the same. I mean, listen, you've got more hair than me. So.
Your classic line, if I had your bonnet, I could do something really special with it.
It's true. Because I've got the old wing backs going back, you know, I've got to do a bit of crafty combing. You're like thick as a brush up there.
Yeah, it's an honour. Can I say it's also an honour to be the first one to interview after your live interview on Sky Sports News? I think that's the first time I've done that. You've come straight off Sky. And
there you go.
So it's an honour, thank you. We're at the Okolie-Chamberlain final press conference today. Firstly, what's your reaction to press conference? Some of the stuff they were saying to each other.
It was interesting. I mean, again, I think once you get, well, in this case, probably 8 or 10 months of beef, you think like you just run out of things to say, and they still couldn't resist having a little pop at each other. I thought Ted Bammy played it quite well. I thought Brian Shaughnessy's ultra cool, isn't he? Yeah. You know, I think what they did was they almost debated the fight, like we're all doing. And when you have a great fight, that's when you really notice it, because everybody, you know, reporters, fighters, fans, are all debating what's going to happen. No one truly knows, do they? You can't sit here and say, listen, Okolie's going to knock him out. You can't sit here and say Chamberlain's going to outbox him, because you actually don't know. So I can't wait for the fight itself. I'm very nervous for both guys, and also just really excited about Velotti v Jones, and particularly Ted Cheeseman against Carson Jones. I just think it's a great fight.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I remember when we had the first press conference when, oh yeah, what was the reason Anthony Joshua isn't at the press conference? He was at the first one.
Something about his training for a unification fight with Joseph Parker. So,
up in Sheffield, I assume.
I didn't actually invite him to this one. I thought I might get a bit of a stern answer. So, but I'm definitely going to text him after, call him and tell him that the media were asking like, why is this man not here? It's a disgrace.
No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, it's not like I'll be able to interview him anyway. If you would say,
I was joking.
I know, but thought I'd play along with it.
No, it's been interesting, because when I asked him to be a co-promoter in the show, he was like, yeah, what do I have to do? I said, look, come to the first press conference, push the show across your social media, your fan base, and it's worked really well. Like, I thought this show might do 3,000 or 4,000. We have 8,000 in there. It's going to be mental at the O2 on Saturday night. So it's worked really well, and I hope that's the start of more stuff like that with Anthony away from his own shows. I
mean, yeah, two things in particular I want to mention. Firstly, I remember back in like November of last year, you said this isn't an O2 fight, and it's done 8,000. Firstly, secondly, I remember at the first press conference I said to you, does this remind you at all of Joshua White? Because that was that first big acid test for AJ, wasn't it? You had that British rivalry, and his 15th fight for the British title. Any similarities between those things and obviously the O2 Arena thing I said?
Yeah, a lot. And again, I think the fight could play out like that fight as well. You know, you had two guys with really good trainers, you know, one obviously under Rob McCracken, Tony Sims, the other one under Jonathan Banks, both having a game plan for the fight. The bell goes and hell breaks loose. So do we think that's going to happen with Chamberlain against Okolie? Quite possibly, because the truth is we don't really know what's going to go through their head when they walk out through those curtains and go, oh my God. The great fighters rise under that pressure. The weak will crumble. Maybe they both rise, maybe they both crumble. I don't know, but what I do believe is that I do believe eventually tactics will go out the window in that fight.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, similar to Joshua White, I think after that first round scuffle, it just went out the window.
Hopefully not, but I do think we'll see a fight that will be for much based around emotion.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Speaking of emotion and stuff like that, I mean, how do you think these guys are going to take away from the fact that there is a rivalry there, it is a grudge match, but essentially we're professionals and we have a job to do? How important is that?
It's so important for their careers. I mean, if you want to be a star and you want to, you know, be earning a lot of money and challenging for major titles, these are the kind of fights that you win. You know, and the winner will go on to be a big star of British boxing. The loser can still be a star, but it might take them a little bit longer. But we will rebuild with them. But there's so much on the line. You know, forget the bragging rights, forget the money. This is about actually cementing your name as one of the top stars, not just in a division, but in the sport in the UK right now. So there's a lot on the line. But fighting's fighting. You know, you can't just go in there and say, oh no, I'm going to do this. And when you get hit on the chin, everything changes. And I think you'll see some boxing, but I think you'll see a lot of infighting and trading in general. It's going to be dangerous for both guys.
Moving on now from this fight, obviously you've got a pretty stacked undercard. Just give me a quick run through of the undercard before I address a few other topics with you.
So we have a big card. I'm just sending this message. Hold on.
Is it a deal?
No, it's Peter Nelson from HBO. Right. So we have a huge card of huge talent. First of all, we have great stars like Gamal Yafai, Felix Cash, who I rate as one of the top middleweights coming through, Charlie Edwards, former world title challenger, Paul Butler, former world champion, Danny Dignam. We have undefeated heavyweight Nick Webb. We have Sean McGoldrick, Commonwealth Games gold medalist. So those guys on, then we step onto the TV stuff and you talk about Reece Bellotti against Ben Jones, which is a brilliant fight. Bellotti, I think, one of the hardest punchers in the division worldwide right now. 11 wins, 10 KOs. Ben Jones just comes to fight and he has a great engine. And I think, again, that could end early, that fight. You have a brilliant fighter in Joshua Buatsi, who I just think he's such a great talent. I gave him a big build-up in the presser, probably put a bit too much pressure on him.
12 out of 10 after the trim, by the way.
Yes, exactly. 12 out of 10 after the trim. And then a brilliant fight, Ted Cheeseman against Carson Jones. They're the kind of fights I love to make because you give these young fighters the opportunity to learn, and then you just take the lead off and you go on son, it's all up to you. And I'm looking forward to seeing Ted Cheeseman get hit back on Saturday night, push back, having his heart question, his chin question. Because if he's as good as we think he is, he'll beat Carson Jones, but if he's not, he won't. Same with Ben Hall. Believe Ben Hall could beat Carson Jones, he wasn't good enough, he got stopped. So Carson's here to win, he's here to fight, and it's a real dangerous fight for Ted Cheeseman. So
one last thing before I move on to other stuff, quickly. With the next gen shows, some of the fighters you've had on here have been on there, like Ted Cheeseman, Chamberlain, Okolie, and some other guys. Now that obviously you have Okolie and Chamberlain headlining their main card, Cheeseman's fighting on the undercard. Do you relate that success back to the next gen shows in the sense that you had those guys fighting on the next gen, so you get the younger fighters, and they're now sort of coming through to the O2 Arena, they're now headlining a big card.
It's all about progression,
the process,
it's all about development. It's all about, one of the reasons the next gen cards are so important is, because when you're fighting on an O2 card, like I'll give you an example, Danny Dignam, he might be on at 5:30 on Saturday night. Not many people in the arena, no TV cameras. So it's great to box in the arena, but then you go on a next gen card, you're live on TV, you're on at 9:30. Do you know what I mean?
Packed out your hall.
It's a different kind of feeling, and it helps you a lot to deal with the pressures when they come in the bigger fights. So you'll see that transition from next gen to Saturday Night Fight Night, and you'll see that through Joe Cordina and Josh Kelly. They'll be the next two to take step ups from that. But I think next gens are going to get even stronger. I mean, you've got Lewis Ritson fighting Joe Murray in the British lightweight title on a next gen. Now, it started off, next gen was just going to be like area title fights and prospects. Now you've got British title fights. So Commonwealth title fights with Bellotti before against Cunningham. So, but again, Bellotti's experienced the big shows and he's experienced boxing and headlining on the next gen. So although he's only had 11 fights, he's in a really good position right now.
Moving on now, something I want to ask you about Stubhub and the whole Stubhub thing. When this is by the way, stuff I've seen on social media, so I thought I'd ask you now, I'm here with you. When the Joshua Parker tickets came out, obviously you had a Fight Pass allocation for matching Fight Pass members, which they could get before. Subsequently, you had the next set, which went on general sale the day after, I believe, or something like that. There were fans complaining on Twitter, in particular on social media, which is what I saw. They were saying that what's happening is the Fight Pass members are buying Joshua Parker tickets, then when they go on general sale, they're whacking them up on Stubhub, the price. So obviously when fans getting them, they aren't face value as to what Matchroom is selling. That's what some people are saying on social media.
You got that confused. What happens is, Fight Pass goes on sale 24 hours before general sale. So for instance, Fight Pass might have been 6,000 tickets. So the next day, we release 50,000 tickets.
On general sale?
At face value, of course. We only ever put tickets on face value. Someone might buy a ticket through Fight Pass and put them up on the secondary market, which is completely different to where we sell our tickets, to see if they can have a result. I saw some guy bought 2 VIPs and he put them up for 40 grand. and people are going to me, this is disgrace. It's like, mate, no one's going to buy them. It's just the guy who's thinking, you know what, I'll just put them up, try my luck, and do I agree with it? No, I don't. It exists everywhere for every major event. But why would you buy a secondary market ticket when there's 50,000 tickets going on sale the next day? And actually, there's still tickets on sale, only 600s and 300s, but we're releasing another trench of tickets for production holds coming up. So don't buy a secondary ticket, you don't need to, you buy it through general sale at face value. Everybody, I don't think there was many people that missed the opportunity to buy for that fight. I agree, maybe you wanted a 40 and you had to buy a 60, well, that's the same with every event. But there are that many tickets, 78,000. I don't actually believe there were people that missed out. You might have missed out on your ticket in your price sector, but that's the same, sorry, with every event. But what you're seeing is, you're seeing people who buy tickets and will put them on secondary sites. Groves Eubank, exactly the same. Thousands of tickets on the secondary market because it was a popular event. Carl Frampton, there were tickets on the secondary market for that event. No one says anything, but you know, the stick that we get is that we sell our face value tickets through a company that do also have a secondary site. Right. Okay? We sell all our tickets through the primary market, face value only, and Stubhub is a massive driver of our tickets. So we look at this, obviously numbers we've sold through Stubhub, face value of course, incredible. There's no secondary market for Okolie-Chamberlain, really, because you've still got tickets available at face value. Dillian White against Lucas Brown, massive ticket sales through Stubhub. Kell Brook against Rabchenko, flying. Amir Khan, nearly sold out in one day. So they're very important to our business because they have a huge customer database. But my word is, don't buy a secondary ticket. You don't see me saying, oh, and if you can't get your tickets, nip on to the secondary market and see if there's one for 40 grand. Just buy it at face value, no problem. But what it is, there's a lot of propaganda in boxing where certain promoters who are fucked basically just get on the beat of the drum and say, no, what about Hearn? He's selling all his tickets to the secondary market. Not true. Look at the facts.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I wanted to ask you that in the first place, because what it was, what I saw on social media after the Joshua Parker ticket sales came on, what people, but this is what, no, I'm not saying this is what I've seen on Twitter and social media. What people were saying was fans who wanted to buy tickets, they said that fans have bought, the Fight Pass members have bought tickets on Fight Pass. They've got them early, and then they've put them on the secondary market and then put them up. And then their argument was, are Matchroom able to see who's doing this because of their Fight Pass memberships and then say, look, to these guys, why are you? It's exactly 100%.
It doesn't matter whether they're doing it on StubHub or Get Me In or Ticketmaster, wherever, it's going to happen. But what I'm saying to you is, why would you buy a secondary ticket
when you can buy face value?
70,000 going on ticket sale the next day. And again, there's still tickets available for face value for Joshua. You don't have to buy a secondary ticket. So again, Groves Eubank, Frampton, any event where there's a sellout, they're going to be on the secondary market. Unfortunately, people will push you to believe that we're the only ones doing it, or we're disgrace, or this and that. I get the connection between StubHub, and maybe it's not a great look, but it's very important to the generation of our ticket sales and make sure that our events are banged out, and we never, have never, will never sell a ticket to the secondary market.
Fair enough, fair enough. Okay, moving on now. In terms of the press conference with Amir Khan and GRECO, obviously that had me in stitches when BBC News thought you were the bouncer. I couldn't believe it.
It's great, isn't it? I've had so much stick about that, but it's all good. It's all good. My old man's been just caning me. So I'm not wearing black anymore. So I'm sort of like more like a fat Jamie Redknapp today. Do you know what I mean?
Jamie Redknapp.
So,
But no, sorry. Obviously, speaking of the press and Khan, obviously doing the water. Obviously, GRECO made some comments about his personal life and stuff. What do you make of that whole thing that happened?
Apparently, it was all rehearsed. I mean, I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying, it's like, do you really think that you would allow someone to say that about your wife and family? Like, he overstepped the mark, but like Phil GRECO said to me, yeah, but Ed, I'm only saying things that Amir Khan wrote on Twitter. But when you say it to someone 5 yards away, and we're not being funny, Pat, me and you couldn't punch our way out of a wet paper bag. If you said that about my family, I'm going to try and chin you. I probably miss, but I'm going to have a go. These guys are fighters. You want to say that to someone, you've got to expect the consequences. Luckily, it was only a little splash of water. No one threw any punches. No one touched anyone. But Phil GRECO's aim was to get under Amir Khan's skin, and he's certainly done that. And I think a lot of people think that the way to beat Amir Khan is to get him to fight on emotion, and he has to be careful not to do that, even against GRECO. I know he's not an elite world beater, but he can mix it at world class with a proper camp, and he'll be looking to knock Amir Khan out on April 21st.
This is the thing, obviously this is Khan's first opponent back for a while, and obviously since that whole social media thing happened, with all that sort of stuff. I mean, do you think after this incident with GRECO that Amir sort of will be not, you know, sort of like mentally prepped just in case another fighter does in the future take him?
Because they've seen the reaction.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to goad Amir, you know what to talk about. And this is the fight game. It's not like, I mean, I said to Phil that was out of order because I did think it was out of order. But at the end of the day, it's fucking nothing to do with me. You say what he wants. They're having a fight. They're not having a game of tiddlywinks or having a cup of coffee. They're going to go in there and punch each other. So anything goes.
And obviously, you know, in terms of the fight itself with Khan and GRECO, it's actually, in all fairness, a stacked card. You've got the Cole Dodd fight, and obviously Mashadod always brings a lot of support with him. Both dressed in Superman outfits, which cracked me up. So yeah, just run me through Khan and GRECO and the rest of the card.
So you've got another title fight to be added as well, but you've got brilliant fight between Coyle and Dodd. You've got Anthony Fowler's going to be in his first real step up. Conor Benn returns to the card. Natasha Jonas fighting for her first title. Scott Fitzgerald. You've got a brilliant central area fight between Ryan Markai and Bilal Romain. Kez Ashfaq is going to be on that card.
Just joined the matchroom team, didn't he?
He's going to box on Next Gen. So already like 12 fights on there, and more to be added actually.
So is Burton fighting on February 25th?
Yes.
Any
no, I want to give him a proper fight. He's ready to go. I mean, he's in the gym, like, yeah, he wants a proper fight.
Any update with that sort of Burton, Yar, Buglioni thing? Anything happening?
But Buglioni's fighting Johnson on a white card. That's his mandatory. And then after that, we want the Yard fight. Okay, fair enough.
Also, I want to speak to you about Ohara Davis. He obviously recently signed with Frank Warren. When I last interviewed you, I think it was back at the Dorchester for the Khan press conference, you said that obviously you would want to work with Ohara, still moving on if you had the chance. What happened there with that whole thing?
We chatted, chatted to Ohara, chatted to MTK. I'm not sure how the relationship would have been. I mean, it was amicable, but you know, I don't think he was overly pleased with what we did, and we certainly weren't very pleased with what he did. And as I said before, if we don't work together, we shake hands. I wish him the best. Had some good times with Ohara Davis. I think we've done a good job, and I like the guy. You know, obviously the Josh Taylor fight was a kick in the nuts because of how it ended, and I thought he'd win that fight. But he's a good fighter. I just wanted him to behave differently, and I don't think he was prepared to do that. He told me about the offer he'd had from Frank. I think it was a good offer. I think Frank's going to box him 4 times this year, so good for him, and I wish him all the best.
Fair enough, fair enough. With AJ, how's he looking in training? And obviously, this fight with Park is absolutely massive. Unification. If he gets, oh, and also the Ring Magazine title. Any situation with that?
The Ring Mag want the belt to be on the line for Joshua against Wilder, so I believe that it should be on the line for Joshua against Parker. It's 1 versus 3. It's a unification fight. But I think they want to wait till March the 3rd, see how Wilder either looks or he could lose. Then it will definitely be for the Ring Magazine belt. So we'll see, but you know, it'd be great if that belt was on their line as well.
With AJ, and I'm not sure if you've done an interview about this previously. I think that I watched about his contract with Matchroom or something in Sky. Is there any truth in the rumours that it ends this year or next year or something? Is there any truth in that?
We're already talking to extend that at the moment. We have a great relationship. We work brilliantly with him and his team. I expect to extend the relationship. We'll see. The only thing that's important right now is beating Joseph Parker on March 31st and then building towards the next fight, which is hopefully Wilder, and then we'll see what happens. But I think before then we'll be tied up.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, I mean, your guys' relationship with AJ and Sky is strong. I mean, AJ's a Sky ambassador. He's been with you guys from day one. You know, so
this show. He's involved in a lot of areas of the business that people don't see as well, and he's, you know, we work great. So good friends, very loyal to each other. Both done a brilliant job. I see us hopefully promoting him for the rest of his career.
Absolutely, fingers crossed. Kell Brook as well, Rabchenko, you had the press conference that recently. How's Kell looking, making that step
looking
up to 154?
Good, really training hard. I mean, I think since the Hearn signing, really got the bit between his teeth. Tough fight against Rabchenko, really tough fight to come back to, but training hard and looking strong.
Update on the rest of the stable, Jacobs, USA Boxing.
Yeah. April 28th, we're looking at a return to the Barclays Centre, so all looking good and ready to go.
What do you make of this Mayweather thing in the octagon and stuff like that?
I think it's a Paddy Power, one of the stunts, so he won't go in the octagon. He won't go in the octagon.
Any updates on the rest of the stable? Anything else happening? I know you've told us a lot already.
No, all good, and you've got loads of people waiting. Every time you ask a question, people tutting.
I want to wrap it up.
How long have you had?
20 minutes. That's our longest interview in a while, to be fair.
Done. Congratulations, probably because you weren't on screen.
I'm not going to say too much else.
All right, mate.
All right, Eddie, nice one. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.